Wesley Pence and Sonny Moore are here. To their millions of fans around the world, they're better known as Diplo and Skrillex. The New York Times has called them purveyors of a very American strain of electronic dance music. They recently combined creative forces to form the supergroup Jack U. Here is a look at their single, Take You There. I'm pleased to have Diplo and Skrillex at this table for the very first time. Welcome. Now, here's why I'm really happy about this, is because I didn't know that much about either of you. And then the more I read, the more I learned, the more I was excited to have you here. So let me just begin with this. I mean, do you think of yourself as musicians or something else?
I think it's a combination of being musicians. I came from singing in bands and playing guitar, and even piano and other instruments, but it's a combination of being a musician, just an artist, and someone that creates things and brings people together, and producer.
In 2015, it's like you have to be able to have one foot in creating the music, also in the creation of the media around the music and the way your show is put together. I'm not a musician per se, but I've always been obsessed with music. I create music now, and I've learned how to play music on my own. And I think it's bigger than just getting a guitar and putting something together. You have to create an atmosphere, and when you create something electronic like the music that we make, it's a little more complex than just laying down some chords.
Absolutely. What has made it so popular?
Well, I think
it's a huge $6.9 billion a year industry.
Yeah. Well, I think it was, the timing, the fact that, the internet and being able to share media happened at the same time where computers and music programs are so accessible to people like us who are younger coming in through music. And me coming through a band, I found it easier to express myself fully through a computer. It's a one-stop shop because then you can upload your stuff. Obviously, like, music videos are all made by us and pictures. And
I think what happened is the distribution chain is broken. It used to be when you had a band, like when Sonny came from, you'd have to get your band together, find some friends that like to make music. You write some songs together, you find a garage, rehearse for weeks and weeks, find someone to borrow some money, use a studio, record the records.
Get a producer.
Shop your demo to a label.
Yeah.
Maybe find a label, maybe do another year of A&Ring to create a record that they want to promote. That's like a 2-year process.
Yeah.
Now it's DIY. I literally can go on my laptop, make a song, put it on YouTube or SoundCloud, reach your shoulder, reach somebody in a couple hours. And that record could be catapulted to something on the radio. So the distribution chain is lost. The labels they still do the same thing, like creating bands and A&Ring records, but we are in a different world where we do it very grassroots. We're making it ourselves and we're distributing it ourselves.
And the sort of renaissance of all art has become really digitized with computers and cell phones. Like people that edit on Instagram, that gives like people normal people an outlet to be creative, and then that can go deeper into music and editing and just young people that are making art in general.
So, but it also has huge energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it comes from being such a youthful movement. Like every year goes by, the producers that are not even getting signed, but becoming popular and making a living are becoming younger and younger, too.
Yeah. I mean, as producers, like I said, we don't have bands. Our job is inside the computer, inside the speakers, is to make the most loudest and craziest, the biggest, something that you haven't heard before. It's like our goal to always be progressive and always make something brand new and something fresh.
And also to bring people together too, like, especially with what we do with Jack U, it's all about, taking things that normally shouldn't make sense, but making them make sense, whether it's like getting 2 Chainz or Justin Bieber on a record when traditionally in dance music, you wouldn't have something like that.
Well, let's talk about forming Jack U. Whose idea?
I think we're peers. I moved to LA about 5-6 years ago, and he was one of the only producers that I knew of, and he was just starting out as well about 5 years ago, and we became really good friends. And I think that we've always been outsiders in this dance world and in the producer world, that we decided to create stuff together. And it was real special because we have a really strong quality control. Like, it's not good enough until it's good enough for both of us, and that takes a lot of work.
Is it a long time, or does it happen over?
I'll give you an example. The record you played on the video of, we recorded that record in like 3 hours one night in a hotel room with the girl Kaisa, who's a great singer, and then it took us about another month after the 2 hours recording the whole vocal to make the song sound the way it did. But for me, sometimes with a song like Major Lazer record, it might take a year to mix the record and produce it properly, even if it takes a night to write the record.
Yeah. But it is rather extraordinary for two people who are at the top, who are really, really good, to come together.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think. I mean, often what you have is two people come really good and then they split.
Right.
And you guys came together, as competitors almost.
Well, you know what it's like, just like what he said, is when you have two people, at least, whether you say we're good or we're bad, like we respect each other so much, it has that quality, that really high quality control. And
Do you compliment each other?
Yeah, in what way? Like,
What
hey,
way?
you're good,
Yeah.
you look nice today? Or as in,
No.
like, we compliment each other's sounds?
And sound, obviously.
Yeah, I think because our sounds are always, if you listen to either our individual projects, they're just so forward thinking. At least what we both try to do is push the envelope with sound. And with Jack U, it takes it to the next level. And it's also, we have no rules other than we make good music. There's no rules.
Electronic music is collaborative. So with me and him, I'm always mixing my music with, like he said, things you wouldn't expect, like a rapper, a rock singer, a country artist, or something that does pop. With me and him, we're always working with different people, different voices, because we're not singers per se. Even though he sang on our new album, we're always looking to collaborate and make things that you haven't heard before, things that are unexpected. And that's, something like the Justin Bieber record, it kind of...
How did that collaboration take place?
We met Bieber at a club. I had become friends with him for years in LA, and we met him at a club and just said, "Hey, we got this project. Give us a vocal. We'll make it crazy. I promise you." So he gave us the record "Where Are You Now?" We spent about 2 months at his house. I'm just on headphones on a table just like this, playing around with it until we had some ideas, and we just had a spark, and then we took it to the finish line.
Yeah.
Roll tape. Take a look at this. Here.
Cool concept, because what we did is we just shot Justin Bieber dancing and performing in a very simple background, but then took all of the stills from the video and opened an art gallery in LA and invited fans, haters, and artists to draw whatever they wanted to on Justin Bieber. And if you go on YouTube, you hit the stills, you can see a lot of stuff, everything from compliments to Jack U art to false god, Illuminati, anything anybody wanted to say.
Some political messages.
Yeah, really political.
But there's 1,000 stills. It was fan-made, the video. We had the idea to create something that, because our album is so collaborative, like I was saying before, that we wanted the video and the way that we use Justin Bieber's voice into something that personified what it is to be like Justin Bieber. He's as a piece of art himself, when you're doing graffiti on him, the way that media might portray him or us. We created something out of that idea of creating a pedestal for artists and how you can paint them yourselves. And we wanted to make the video collaborative by our fans and the people who know Justin Bieber and make something different.
What makes Justin Bieber tick?
Man, I don't know.
You know what? I think when you're that young and you've grown up that famous.
And you got that much money.
Yeah, I don't even know if money... I don't know. I had money at a young age, and then I lost it, and then because I was in a band, but didn't really feel different. I can't say what it's like to be him. I don't even know if it's the money. I think maybe at a certain point when you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't conducive to what you should be doing, it can throw you into an area where you're just very reactive. And I think that now he's in such a good place. He's really focused, and I see him. He's around really good people and
the creative people.
Yeah, creative people, and he's got guys like us that believe in him, and no matter what anybody says, he's one of the most talented people, maybe the most talented people I've ever been in the studio with.
One of the most talented people you've ever been in the studio with.
100%.
Not even music.
100%.
He's good at ping pong. He's better at me than basketball.
You tour what, 300 shows a year?
I think about that, yeah. Play about 300 shows. This weekend we did, me and him both collectively probably did 15 shows between Thursday and Sunday.
All in New York?
I did 4 in New York. I did 3 in New York, 3 in Philly. He did Las Vegas, New York, Philly, Vancouver, somewhere else.
Sometimes the audiences are as big as 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100,000.
We played for about 100,000 people a couple of times.
Festivals. Where was that? Festival.
Quebec City we played at once for 100,000 people.
I did Belgium.
I played at
Rock Werchter.
We did 100,000 on the main stage at Pukkelpop or Rock Werchter in Europe.
Yeah.
At Hardfest last week we played for about 60,000 people on our stage.
Yeah.
In LA.
How are you changing? How is what you do growing, other than the size of it, so to speak? What's the driving force behind change?
You know what I think? Back when we first started, like he was saying, there was kind of a DJ scene, but I didn't come into DJ as a DJ. I wasn't, I was an outsider. We were outsiders from this thing, doing it our own way, and weren't trying to go with how things were going. So I think like in the beginning, you know, no one considered us musicians, not that we cared or anything, but I think now we've just gained a lot more respect and rapport from a lot of different artists, and it's easier to collaborate. But, you know, a lot of the people, even 4 or 5 years ago when we really first started like breaking into the scene, you know, a lot of these credible people that are musicians considered us musicians, but like the media and the outside world didn't. So now I think people trust us a little bit more. And even with radio, you know, we never set out in the beginning to like make radio records, but naturally it's our sound is starting to cross over.
I think it's important that
Your
we
sound
never,
is starting to cross over.
Yeah. We never aim for radio. A lot of producers in the place that we are, their main goal is to just get on the radio, sell records. You know, for us, our fan bases are going to be there regardless. We're making music for our fans. You know, when we go perform live, we think about how the kids who come to our shows are going to like this. We never think about, is radio going to plug this? Is it going to be easy to accept?
And how do you measure success? Is it just in your head, or is it some other way?
I think for me, it's personal. I just want to make great music. I don't care.
Music that you like and
that I love. I want music to give me goosebumps when I listen to the record that I made.
Does that happen often?
It happened with this Bieber record. When we finished this, we were like, whoa, this is really special.
You know, it's like when you make a record and then you play it for the first time in front of an audience and you feel connect.
Yeah.
It's a special feeling. And going back to the radio thing is like, you know, I think where we really shine and what this thing is all about, you know, DJing, what we do is we sit up there and we are curating the soundtrack to an amazing live experience for people. And even at these festivals that are mixed, like we play a lot of festivals with like rock bands, like rap artists, like whatever it is, and you know what we do is so maximal. So that's that peak moment where, you know, it's all about the live energy of everyone together, you know, and that's what we're curating at that moment. So that's more important than a song getting on the radio. You know, if I get a song on the radio but it doesn't connect live, I'd rather have it connect live because that's where, so that's like where it comes from in the beginning, you know?
But I think that the taste of America has changed so much the last couple of years, where you used to have a machine to put records on the radio to where now records like what we're doing, we have a record with Jack U, but I have a record as Major Lazer called Lean On that's also on the radio. It's been released independently. It's like we have no help from any major labels. So it's possible nowadays to put a great song on the radio with the right team, you know?
Take me through the process of creating something.
I'll give you an example. We were recently on tour together in Canada. We went to Montreal. We had a day off with Arcade Fire. Have you heard of that band?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And a friend of mine was there, and we just said, hey, let's go meet up with you guys. We went to his garage and just literally played for 20 minutes, just everybody on an instrument. I got the files from them, and now I edited down these loops, you know, in little pieces, and I'm going to probably go back to Montreal with the lead singer Win and maybe Sonny and record vocals on it. So it's just, I texted him one day like, hey, are you in town?
Because, you know, a lot of times you said, how does this process go? Like, you know, like you said with Arcade Fire, we just jammed on live instruments for like 45 minutes and probably made an album worth of material and then cut it down to like some parts we're going to later finish. But, you know, sometimes we'll start with 3 chords and a vocal and then like take you there. Like he was saying with Kaiser, that first record, you know, we recorded the song. When I say song, I mean the vocal and the melody in the hotel room, but it took about a month to figure out what the track was going to become. Yeah. And that was a whole other side of the process.
Yeah. Wes said of Sonny that there is no precedent for what he's doing and what he could do.
I mean, for me, Sonny was a real game changer in the DJ world because while his productions and his mixing was really another level above what I hear even on the radio, it was really, he's got a high standards to the way he makes music sound. As big as he gets it, but he also has like he's the first guy I met in this DJ world that has a rock star presence, you know what I'm saying? Like he's from a band, so he can handle himself on stage. A lot of DJs, they're pretty boring, you know? Yeah. We're not, you kind of need to have that rock star.
Is that natural, or does that come from being a musician on stage so that you understand movement, you understand presence, you understand how to relate to an audience?
I guess like relating to an audience is not about relating to an audience or trying to relate to an audience. It's about being true to yourself in the moment and not thinking.
Do you feel like you're socially stronger maybe in front of a big audience than you are like one-to-one with people?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, at least like, you know, like 30 people, like I'm DJing in front of, like the more people is actually easier.
I've seen him work in the studios and he's better when like 30 people are watching him on a laptop than him by himself. You know, the ideas don't flow as much. So he has
So you're better with people around.
Yeah, I mean, at times.
And the more people, the better you are.
Yeah, I mean, especially when the energy's awesome. I mean, when you're playing a show, the energy you get from the stage is like undescribable, and it's just like this constant feedback, you know, like a cycle. And when you're in the studio with people, when you have good energy and people are having fun and feeling the music, it inspires you to continue to go down the right path. If people stop moving, then you're not making the right sounds.
What was it like taking over the Garden? Madison Square
It was
Garden.
it was a good bucket list.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Check.
anybody's bucket list, wouldn't it? Yeah, check it.
Check that thing.
Yeah, what else is on the bucket list?
Do Charlie Rose show.
Do Charlie
Rose show,
Yeah.
of course.
What
Yeah.
about musically?
Musically, I think, you know what?
It's strange that we have people paying attention to this project out of nowhere. Like, we went to the radio today, and people are expecting another single from us. You know, that everything that's happened with these records has happened organically. So
Yeah.
I'd love to get back in with him and do. We have a really strange leverage now over artists to give us some of the best records they've done, and they respect us. For, I think for a long time, like 5 years, we struggled for people to kind of respect what we do.
When you
in a
say
way.
leverage, how are you using
When
the
you're
word?
when you're a producer, you have when you're working with the artist, it's always like a sense of negotiating. You know, like if you're with a studio Madonna or a pop star, you find out where the comfort levels end and how far you can take them on one direction or the other. And a lot of times, a big star will take up most of the space, and you have only a little say in the work. But with him and me, with this Bieber record, we did like 95% of it, like the direction it went. And I think that a lot of people
And
are
that
like,
has
wow.
to do with Bieber trusting you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And once an artist does that and they give us that trust and we take our record to another level, I think it gives other people confidence in us to do that again.
Yeah, and like, you know, I think a lot of times, you know, people do music for a long time and they get to a certain age and, you know, they have families and they have kids and like all this stuff. But like, you know, we're just so inspired and hungry to, like he said, is to like make great songs and make great tracks that sound like nothing else and push the boundaries of what, I mean, even the Justin Bieber single, that's a, you know, top 10 record, you know, isn't a pop format the way it's written. You know, it's not a traditional pop song, and it's trying to sort of changing, instead of the verse, chorus, bridge, outro, it's like we're changing the sort of the pop format.
You also have a reputation of being able to spot trends.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means, you know, like, I think we're both kids inside. I mean, you know, we're, you know, I'm in my late 20s, and how old are you now?
My mid-30s.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, like, we're like kids. Like, we listen to music all the time, just like kids do, and we're, you know, we're just into that. And, you know, I think it's weird because I talk to a lot of people that are a couple years younger than me, and they're talking about, like, I'm old, I'm getting old. And the minute you start saying that, you become old.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know.
We've been living on the road for about a decade, both of us.
Yeah.
Like, we've been, because this is the way we've been touring, and I've been moving all over the places to kind of, this is inspiring to me. But I think that when I say we spot trends, it's strange that we're here on your show and we're on the radio, because we're at after party like 2 nights ago. We're still like hanging out with kids that are making music that we make, you know. It's underground stuff. We come from an underground sensibility.
And how old are they?
Some, I mean, other peers are between 20 and 30 still, you know. But
Some kids are getting younger too, like
some kids we meet that
18.
come on, that we sign record deals with, their kids are like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Some young kids are so great. And then some kids, like, we played with Knife Party yesterday who are like in their 30s as well. And Diane Ward played with us, Tyler, the Creator. There's a lot of kids that are in our scene. It's not limited to just dance music. I feel like a lot of rap music, a lot of underground rock music, it's all part of our scene right now.
And done the same way, like young kids, even like in hip hop, or, you know, like just music you can't really put like a genre on, is made the same way we make it. We make it in our rooms with our friends. You know, nothing's fancy. We don't need all this, like, you know, these like suit people around like checking up on us. It's just we make it in our own environment and have a good time, you know.
Now, what about drugs? This is what The Guardian wrote. Molly's, talking about Molly and ecstasy, Molly's ascent to the mainstream lexicon has roughly coincided with the ascent of Skrillex and the clumsily named electronic dance music, EDM, to the top of the U.S. dance music charts.
Yeah, I think I think every generation with music.
It's his fault.
That's just me though.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're responsible for the ascent of Molly?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not, because I make music and don't sell drugs. But, you know, and I don't condone drugs and I don't use drugs. You know, I do it for music. But the thing is, if you look at the patterns of any era that had music that exploded in youth culture, just because of the ratio of how big it is, that creates a bigger ratio of drugs that get used. Drugs have always been used you know, from like disco era, like cocaine and like, you know, obviously, you know, LSD and like, you know, marijuana during this. There's always been drugs, and like this year happened to be Molly. Yeah. You know, and I don't know. I mean, that's just how. I mean, that was the, you know, before there was Skrillex. Well, no matter what the Guardian wants to say, MDMA and ecstasy has been in rave and underground club music since the beginning. So it got bigger out here. So inevitably, that culture came along with it. But you know, like the sort of events that we play and the audiences that we reach out to are so much more vast than what this article, you know, talked about.
You know.
So where do you think you and the music will be in 5 years?
Everything we're doing is growing, and I think that we are both real humble. We feel lucky to be doing this. You know, I never had a job that I was able to keep, so I started making music. So I'm just happy people are paying attention. As long as they are, I want to make as much as I can.
So of all the good things they say about you, what do you like the most? What do you appreciate the most?
About what?
About the music, about the fame, about the attention.
You know what?
About the fans.
At the end of the day, you know, like there's so many people come to these shows, and when you talk about something like, you know, like drug use and the negative side of things, it's still the minority. And like the fact is, like I believe we are truly, you know, artists like us and our peer groups are at a renaissance of how you can create art and music through technology and what's happening right now. And that's awesome. And that can lead to anything. That can lead to anything.
If we can change the way people think about music, a lot of young kids, the way that there used to be barriers and genres about what you should listen to, what you shouldn't, where the limits are. If we can change people's ideas of the limits of music and change people's ideas about music, that would be really important.
Yeah, and how you can make music. I feel like what we're doing is enabling a lot of people. You know, like I said, when we first started out, we weren't considered musicians, and I think there's a lot of people.
Do you think that's changed?
That's changed, and even, you know, there's been electronic music, obviously, since George Moroder and Brian Eno doing different things. They were.
And when was that?
In the 70s, 80s, yeah.
It was like music concrete and, you know, French music from the 60s, but I think electronic music got its notoriety with Moroder doing stuff like Donna Summer records, you know, like completely, you know, vocal records over only electronic music, you know, and that was like a big breakthrough. And then it evolved into hip hop, into dance music, into disco, into pop, into 80, you know, into like new wave, into industrial music, all the way up to us. And we're like a culmination of everything that happened before us. We're just like another filter that it comes out.
Yeah.
Look at this clip with Daniel Ek. Here it is.
What I hope is that we can take this technological shift and move it from not just being about listening to music to being about even how we create music. When you think about the internet is not just audio. It's audio, it's visual, and it's interactive. What's the future of music gonna be in that format that isn't just about the actual sound itself anymore? It is about the sound, it's the visual, and perhaps it might even be the interactive part.
That guy's cool. I mean,
Would you agree with him? It's more, in essence, he said the same thing you guys agree with.
For sure. I think inevitably it's
the technology,
all coming together.
For us, the one thing that I think that me and him, which helps lead us to be successful this year, is that a lot of artists that are before us, a lot of the other guys that are older that battle streaming services, that battle distribution systems, we embrace it 100%. We'd rather people listen to our music than to make every cent we can make off of it. That's important for us to get our music heard more than to grab every penny we can get.
The way I've looked at it is you have to divide. It's like what a market is. It's like you have different aisles, and certain people, you have the girls section, you have the socks section. Maybe some person only going to buy socks. Like if you're going to take, you know, your music away from one area, there's a whole demographic of people that only go to that aisle, you know? And so there's a whole other demographic of people that buy CDs. So, you know, it's like those people that, you know, some people are, this is my philosophy. I'm not telling anybody else they need to do it that way, but, you know, people go to Spotify and subscribe. That's how they get their music. And that's a whole group of people. And if you take it away from there, you're alienating a group of people that's never going to see your music. And they're not going to, it doesn't mean they're going to change. A lot of times they're not going to go buy a CD because you took your stuff off Spotify.
Does it also mean that people who might not have a chance of getting a record made now have an access to having their music heard?
Well, technology has never really benefited the artist. It's always benefited the audience.
But today, and is this true today, you think?
Yeah. I mean, when I first had a cassette tape, I was immediately recording stuff illegally off of the radio. I mean, it's always been in the favor of the audience to make it easier for them, and it's not going to get any easier for the artist. We're actually, the more you fight it, the more you're wasting your time, because audience is going to find it easier and easier ways to get the music.
They do, yeah.
It's not, you can't stop that, you know?
And the easier you can make it for the audience to find it, the better off you're going to be.
That's the
that
philosophy.
Accessibility.
That's why we're doing.
Accessibility is a key word.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it here today. Like we've always rode that wave, you know.
Yeah.
And if we had fought it, we would be wasting. We would be still in our studios complaining.
The one thing that I am kind of bummed about is like recently all the major labels, and we distribute through majors, you know, because they all, you know, made it so all the full songs on SoundCloud to be taken down and limited to clips and shorter previews.
Yeah.
And it's like at the end of the day, man, those kids on SoundCloud, like they're actually, because we're some of the biggest people on SoundCloud with the most followers,
right.
And that's a huge asset to our overall business of how people listen to our music. And there's kids that only go to SoundCloud that will not ever buy an iTunes, won't even go on Spotify, and that's how they listen to music. And what that does is it eliminates a big asset and is cutting off your music to an audience that will potentially come to your shows and be fans. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of controversy in all these things, but I almost wish it was just up to the person that owns the art at the end of the day, you know, like the way they want it to be heard.
Yeah. Are you happiest when you're in front of a large crowd and you're really at one with them and the music?
I think both large and small were happiest in just connecting with people. And like you said, like you know, you make a song and it gives you the chills and you feel it, and then you get to experience it being heard in a different way in front of people and see how it creates an energy in the room is a special feeling. I think just for the audience, almost just as much as us. You know?
I'm just lucky that I make a living creating. You know, I'm just happy I can do that and share it with people. I feel like my family's never had. They never could believe that I would be able to make a living off of creating something. You know.
Yes, my father wouldn't believe I could make a living sitting at a table talking either. It's not a bad living. Is it?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great
man.
to have you.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Great.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.